What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And it's Tuesday, which means it's time for our weekly tier list Tuesday. And now that we're about a third of the way through the 2025-2026 season, some teams are already at that 27 game mark. I thought that I'd give an updated tier list on how every single team slash fan base is feeling right now. I did this at like the 5 game mark, which was obviously a very overreactionary and dramatic. But now at this point, you especially talk about the Thanksgiving, 81% of teams that are in a playoff spot at Thanksgiving stay in a playoff spot. We kind of know what to expect from these teams. We know what they're good at, what they're bad at, what players are breaking out, what players are regressing on said team. So yeah, we're going to be tier listing every single team slash fan base on how they feel, not how good they are. Over the moon, these are all pretty self-explanatory. Over the moon, positive vibes, cautiously optimistic, a tad disappointed, and then straight up chop. The Montreal Canadiens, they were definitely in the over the moon after the first like 5 to 10 games of the season. The schedule has gotten a little bit harder. They have started to lose some games. They're still in a playoff spot. So again, positive vibes. Ivan Demidov is on pace for like 65 goddamn points despite playing like 14 minutes a night without a second line center. The goaltending is probably holding them back from still being over the moon, as well as some key injuries. But I mean, definitely positive vibes for how young they are to still safely be in the playoff spot as of right now. Good stuff in Montreal, and the vibes are pretty high. For the Dallas Stars, they're on pace to like 115 points. If they weren't a consistent regular season wagon, I'd probably put them in over the moon. Wyatt Johnson's playing good. Mikko Rantanen's looking like that true superstar that you expected when you traded for him. Thomas Harley, unfortunately, is dealing with an injury, and Liam Bichelle is now going to be out for an extended period of time. But like basically everything else on this team is going very good, but again, they've just been like a regular season wagon the last couple of years. So like relative to expectations, I'm not too shocked. I'm not sure you're over the moon, because for you, all that really matters is the playoffs. The Anaheim Ducks, they're over the moon. Basically, everybody on that goddamn team is breaking out. Leo Carlsson's on pace for like 100 points. Beckett Seneca's leading all rookies in points right now. Josh Stahl's establishing himself as one of the best young goalies in the NHL. It's basically all positive. You revived Chris Kreider, Jacob Trouba. It's been great for the Anaheim Ducks. The Boston Bruins, I'm going to put them in cautiously optimistic just because how long is Charlie McAvoy going to be out for? That could make or break their season. They're outperforming expectations, not my expectations. I had them as my most underrated team heading into the season, mainly off the back of not even Pasternak. He's playing good, don't get me wrong, and Morgan Geeky, but Jeremy Swayman might be the Vezina pick right now and like a sneaky heart pick. So him getting back on track, you're probably positive. They're only at like a 56% points percentage. But again, the way that Morgan Geeky has played, the way that Jeremy Swayman has played, I'm actually going to move them up to positive vibes. The Edmonton Oilers, chopped. We talked about it on the podcast. Obviously, the goaltending, you knew that it was bad. Like, you can't be too surprised. But even their underlying numbers, you look under the hood of this team, and it's not very good. They're like 27th in expected goals percentage at 5-on-5. So in prior years, when it was solely the goaltending, you could be like, they're going to turn it around. Or maybe we could trade for a goalie. The overall team has been pretty uninspired right now. So I'm going to go with Chop, not saying that's how they're feeling right now. I'm not saying their season is literally over. But yeah, it's pretty depressing right now in Edmonton. The Buffalo Sabres are starting to win some games. They're probably more than a tad disappointed considering the start to the season. But they're somewhat getting back on track. Josh Norris had a 3-point night in his return after getting hurt in the first game. But yeah, they're on the upward trend as of right now. The Chicago Blackhawks, over the moon. Connor Bedard taking that superstar step. Another monster game against the Anaheim Ducks on what was it, Sunday. Very positive. Spencer Knight playing fantastic. All of their young guys. Leshinov's cooking it like half a point per game. They're definitely over the moon. Detroit's starting to fall. I think they're like 1-4 or like 2-5 in their last 7 games. They're starting to slow down after such a hot start. After the 10 to 15 game mark, yeah, they'd be in positive vibes, over the moon. But John Gibson especially has been very, very disappointing for this team. They're playing Travis Hamonic in like a somewhat serious role. Like the depth, especially defensively, is not there. I think you're a little bit disappointed right now if you're a Detroit Red Wings fan. The Nashville Predators are chopped as always, but like they kind of expect choppedness at this point. The Los Angeles Kings, they're going to make the playoffs. The Vancouver Canucks, I thought maybe could pass them. That ain't going to happen. But I mean, for them, it's all about just getting out of the first round. How will you get past a Vegas Golden Knights and Edmonton Oilers and Anaheim Ducks? So yeah, you're cautiously optimistic that this year might be different. But let's be honest, it's probably not going to be. My New York Islanders, they're starting to lose some games. I'd still go like positive vibe just because, at least at the 5-game mark, like you're just seeing even more so now, Matthew Schaefer is legit. That is the clear positive. Emil Heineman's playing good. So, yeah, it's definitely positive for the New York Islanders. And in my opinion, the positive vibes will continue if they continue to start losing some more games and the young guys continue to play good because the ethical tank is getting back on track. Minnesota, this definitely has a lot to do with the last 12-ish games where they're like 10-1 or 10-2 in their last 12 games. They have been absolutely balling out, had like an 8-game win streak. Wallstead is establishing himself as one of the best young goalies in the NHL. So they're over the moon right now, and now they're safely in a playoff spot in the Western Conference after starting off so rough. They've just completely turned the season on its head. The New Jersey Devils, cautiously optimistic. They're just kind of staying afloat right now. They have been losing some games since losing Jack Hughes, but you kind of expected that. They just need to stay alive for the next 6 to 7 weeks until Jack Hughes gets back. The Toronto Maple Leafs, it's brutal. They're god-awful defensively. They had some serious injuries, or they've been dealing with some serious injuries. And as a result, they're multiple points back of a playoff spot right now. It's not looking good for Toronto. For Florida, I know that they've had so many injuries, of course. Kachuk, Barkov, not even just those guys. Gadjevich, Luosterainen, like burnt his hand. Kulikov. But I still think you could say it's been a little bit disappointing. They have a 52% points percentage. They still are such a deep team, and Sergei Bobrovsky has definitely been very disappointing to start the season. So again, closer to cautiously optimistic. Like, I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but it has been a little bit disappointing. We can say that too. They have blown some games that they should have won, where I think you can be a little bit disappointed in this team and still not sound the alarm bells at this point. The Calgary Flames, I hope that they just continue to win games and end up fucking up their draft pick. But in terms of like the actual season, they're chopped. They started off so rough, even though they have insanely good 5-on-5 numbers somehow. Columbus got a big win against New Jersey. They're sitting around 56% points percentage within striking distance of that wild card. And for them, who cares what seed they are in the playoffs? They just got to make the playoffs, and that's a successful season. So you're cautiously optimistic. Someone like Adam Fantilli is playing much better the last 12 games compared to the first 12 games, and he's basically your franchise center going forward, most likely. So yeah, cautiously optimistic. The Colorado Avalanche, they're on pace to like set the single season points record. So you got to be over the moon. Martin Necas is emerging as a star, a superstar right now. Makar, Norris pick, McKinnon, Hart pick. You got the best goalie tandem in the NHL, at least right now for this season. It's been amazing for the Colorado Avalanche. The Pittsburgh Penguins, you're watching the Unks just have one last amazing season. Crosby has 18 goals right now. He's carrying my fantasy hockey team. Malkin's playing good. Is it sustainable? I don't know, but they're feeling great watching it happen. They're still at 62% points percentage. Washington, positive vibes. It started off pretty rough, but now they're safely in a Metro spot and probably going to be a playoff team. So, yeah, they got him back on track, and Chychrun is really proving that contract, that 8-year, $9 million contract. New York, the New York Rangers, they're pretty chopped right now. They're not completely out of it in terms of playoffs, but relative to the start that you were expecting, guys like JT Miller really shitting his pants. I think he's at like half a point per game right now. Will Cooley is not playing to the level that you thought maybe he'd take a step this year. Nobody's really playing that good on New York outside of Adam Fox, who, of course, is now hurt, and that also leads to a lot of their fans thinking that they're chopped right now. Shesterkin's been good, but yeah, at this point, they're on the outside looking in for the playoff picture. Vancouver is definitely chopped as of right now, sitting towards the bottom of the Western Conference, and every underlying number show that this team is not very good. Demko's already dealing with injuries. They have guys like Hedl down. It's not good. The Quinn Hughes rumors are starting to ramp up. It's not been good in Vancouver. Utah, I think that they can turn it around. And it's not like they were a playoff team last year, although they had playoff expectations. It's been bad. They had that great great win streak kind of to start the season, but since then it's been loss after loss after loss. If they fire Andre Tournier, I think the vibes might change within that franchise. The Ottawa Senators, I'm going to go cautiously optimistic. The goaltending has me pretty cautious with the Ottawa Senators right now, just because Ullmark is getting up there in age. Although I expect him to bounce back to some degree, maybe he is just falling off. Like, goalies are weird. Thankfully, they did have a solid start even without Brady Tkachuk. I think they're still going to be a playoff team. Again, this is like somewhat relative to expectations. So I think you're cautiously optimistic if you're an Ottawa fan. Ullmark will figure it out once we inject Brady Tkachuk into the lineup. We'll be fine. We'll make the playoffs. How good we'll be and could we potentially make some noise in the playoffs is to be determined. The Tampa Bay Lightning right now over the moon. They're like 15-3 in their last 18 games. They're starting 1-4-2, so you need to be pretty jacked up if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan and you're first in the Atlantic and probably going to run away with the Atlantic Division. This year, San Jose Sharks. You watch Will Smith's double toe drag goal last night. That was fucking gross. And yeah, they're just such a fun team to watch. Celebrini and Smith are bona fide future stars. They don't even have Michael Misa right now that could also eventually be a star one day. The vibes are high in San Jose, and they're somehow in a playoff spot. Well, they've deserved a playoff spot at this point, if I'm being honest. Philadelphia has been cooking at a decent clip. They're at like 58-60% points percentage, and Trevor Zegras is way better than even I expected. I expected him to bounce back. I didn't expect him to be this damn good. Unfortunately, Tyson Forrester is now dealing with an injury. But yeah, there's definitely some positive vibes going on in Philadelphia. You want Mitchkov to play better, but you're at least seeing a solid product on the ice compared to last year or prior seasons. The St. Louis Blues, you got to be feeling pretty chopped. Last night, lost against the Anaheim Ducks, under 500 in terms of points percentage. Snuggerud's out at least 6 weeks. So yeah, their playoff chances, although it's kind of a shit show in the Western Conference right now for the last 2 playoff spots, they're so far behind the 8 ball that I don't really see it happening. The Seattle Kraken are in a playoff spot right now, but I think you've still got to be a tad disappointed just because your young guys like Beniers, Wright are not producing both at around half a point per game. You don't think, go watch my full video on the Seattle Kraken, but I don't know how sustainable Philip Grubauer and Matt Murray having a combined like 917 save percentages right now. And also they have 6 overtime and shootout losses that has catapulted them into this playoff spot. So I don't even think you can be cautiously optimistic. Maybe their fans are, but for me, I just don't think so. And then Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to go cautiously optimistic. They're sitting right now at 600 points per 60% points percentage. That's 600% points percentage. They're also an overtime shootout merchant right now. They have 8 thus far, but I think that they're going to figure it out. Aiden Hill has been hurt. They're starting Carter Hart tonight or in a couple of days. So once Aiden Hill gets healthy, I think they're going to be a safe playoff team. And come playoff, will you get Mitch Marner in Toronto, or will he be a different player come playoff time? You're cautiously optimistic in that regard. Carolina, safely going to cruise to a playoff spot. Again, just relative to expectations. They don't even have Slavin right now, and they're playing so good. I guess you could say over the moon. Guys like Jackson Blake already proving his contract, and it hasn't even kicked in. It doesn't kick in until next season. But yeah, like similarly to Dallas, like their bar is just so high in the regular season that I can't really say over the moon. And then lastly, the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck goes down and the entire team falls apart. I just posted a TikTok also today on this, just going over how it's been a total shit show. They let Ehlers walk. They signed Taze and Nyquist. They've both been god-awful. Taze has 9 points in 25 games, bad defensively. Nyquist has 0 goals, 6 assists, 20 points. Yeah, it's not looking good, and Winnipeg could potentially end up being a wild card team, but I think at this point we can agree like they're so shallow after that first line, the first line that they should break up, that even if they slithered into the playoffs, like they're just going to lose in the first round to the Colorado Avalanche or 2 to one of the Pacific teams. It's not looking good in Winnipeg, but yeah, this is a pretty evenly spread out tier list. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about it? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? I'll be seeing the next one. Let me know any other topics you might want me to do a tier list on. Peace.